Sri Lanka's new carbon tax. About 14 months since it was first reported, a carbon duty has been put into impact in Sri Lanka WEF. 1st January 2019. The assessment initially shown up in the Financial Plan 2018 discourse of the priest of Fund Mongala Samarawira in November 2017. The fund priest has declared for the current week that the duty would become effective from 1st January 2019, yet payable from 2020 onwards. Probably, the move is to shore up treasury incomes in the midst of difficult spending shortage targets and gains from pay-imposed changes that are yet to completely appear, yet no uncertainty likewise to energize more noteworthy earth-cognizant conduct by subjects. In any case, in the same way as other arrangements in Sri Lanka, policymakers and officials invest little energy in getting the structure right, and powerless plan is regularly the Achilles impact point of good strategy thoughts in this. Unless income from this carbon assessment is reserved and ring-fenced explicitly for green activities, remaining consistent with the excellent targets expressed in the spending discourse in 2017, this new expense would not accomplish the expected objectives and is only rather another income-raising measure for the general treasury to help the regularly enlarging government consumption. The service of BAC, or the branch of engine traffic, should set up an uncommon reserve to ring-fence the income from this expense and have it spent explicitly on significant green activities. There is no reason for having a carbon expense that exempts electric vehicles when the impetuses are not legitimately adjusted for electric vehicle by, explicitly, the ominous and much of the time changing import obligation routine for electric vehicles. As indicated by the most recent accessible vehicle enrollment information, obligingness JB Securities, month-to-month electric vehicle enlistments recorded only 6 units in November 2018, down from 5 units in October 2018 and 5 units a year prior. This is a similar pattern seen over the recent years, since purchasers don't see the obligation routine as alluring. On the off chance that we are to considerably build EV utilization, the obligation structure on EV ought to be generously increasingly great as well. There is no reason for having a carbon assessment that is implied to have been presented on ecological contemplations that exempts electric vehicles when the power age in Sri Lanka is ruled by non-renewable energy source consuming sources. As indicated by the CB's age information from 2017, almost 70% of Sri Lanka's power age was with warm oil, 34% and warm coal, 35%. Just 27% was produced by hydro, major plus small scale, and $4 by other sustainable powder source, sun-oriented, wind, dendro, and biomass and so on. Except if the plan of the duty explicitly motivating forces families utilizing housetop sun bays to charge their EVs, as opposed to pulling from the general lattice. At that point the structure of the carbon expense is imperfect given the high petroleum derivative consuming warm age of power in the nation. The structure of the carbon expense shouldn't generally be founded on motor limit, however, rather than use. Take a basic case of Mr. Silva versus Mr. Wijewardena. Mr. Silva possesses a vehicle, yet utilizes it just on ends of the week, to take the family around, to go and do week-by-week shopping, and so forth. Amid weekdays, for office and so on, he goes by open transport. His vehicle consumes under 10 liters of fuel each week. Mr. Wijewardena likewise possesses a vehicle, however he utilizes it consistently and to travel all over. He never utilizes open transport, and consumes almost 40 liters of fuel each week. Along these lines, by not sadly dependent on use, both Mr. Silva and Mr. Wijewardena both pay a similar measure of carbon assessment, despite the fact that sensibly they have altogether different natural effects. When a fuel value equation has been presented, it would have the current structure of the duty that punishes more seasoned vehicles for more up-to-date vehicles, probably utilizing vehicle age as an intermediary for outflows content, is pointless and imperfect since all vehicles need to experience a mandatory yearly emanations test to check if the vehicle's discharges are beneath the passable dimensions. In another exceptional premise, Vehicles more up to date than 5 years are charged 50 pennies for each cubic centimetre of motor limit, while autos somewhere in the range of 5 and 10 years are charged twice that. Vehicles more than 10 years are charged multiple times. In any case, all autos, aside from exemplary vehicles, need to finish a discharge test, making a joke of the premise. Autos that don't breeze through the test need to tune the motor or fix it. More established autos are commonly possessed by poorer and more seasoned individuals, who scarcely use it, making Sri Lanka's carbon impose particularly unfair. Numerous retirees keep a more seasoned vehicle for end-of-the-week shopping or to go the specialist. Apparently new vehicles are purchased by more extravagant individuals. Seemingly they would circumvent more. Economy next, 9th January 2019, Sri Lanka shields Fielda. What do you think? Does Sri Lanka really need carbon tax?
Please comment below and like as well. Don't forget to subscribe channel.